Okay, first a big thanks to Epic who have given us this venue tonight, this lovely, lovely venue. Some health and safety things. If there is any event, your exit points are at either end or out the side, and your assembly points are at either side. If there's an earthquake, don't run, don't panic, all that. If there's a fire, etc., and you've got toilets down there and down there. I think I've officially ticked off my compulsory health and safety briefing. You can credit that later. So we're going to run through, first of all, I'll do a quick welcome, and then we will maybe get a quick pitch. Is Elise here? I'm going to say, no, we won't have a quick pitch. And then we'll get into our presentation from FIS, end with some more networking. So, my first thing I'd like to do is introduce our new General Manager, Louisa Taylor. So, for those who have been keeping up with the play, obviously Neil has moved on to a role at Tate, and we've been going through the journey over the last month to find a replacement for the irreplaceable. So I'm going to let Louisa talk about her vision and what she's going to do next.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul, and kia ora koutou. I'm so thrilled to be taking on this role. It's pretty exciting. First of all, to get into a room with lots of friends and previous colleagues, and to work with such a diverse and interesting committee. So I've had my baptism by fire today. I started my very first day on the role today, and so straight into a committee meeting at 3:30 today, and it's been a wonderful start. So I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to supporting Claire and Alex, our staff, to create more slick events like this and the Tech Summit that's happening in November. And of course, I want to say a big thank you to Neil Hamilton, who has been the first GM for Canterbury Tech and has just set some really amazing momentum in connecting our community together. And I hope that while he's a very hard set of shoes to fill, that I can do it justice. So I'm looking forward to meeting you all, and that's my intention, to start getting out and visiting our members and finding out, life's changed, and I want to find out what's important to you going forward into this next couple of years about how we connect and what we want to connect on, and the types of things we want to be talking about to take our community together forward. So, fun fact about me, I am currently the director of Periscope Collective, which is a small consultancy doing work in innovation. So we do sort of innovation as a service, helping solve problems, usually very human-centred problem solving. And I'm also the Professor of Practice at the UC School of Business. I know it's such a imposter syndrome inducing title. I help design courses for the executive education course at UC, and I'm currently teaching in design thinking and also a new course in agile commercials, which is one of my nerdy niches. So helping people to create human-centred partnerships rather than deciding on what the deliverable is going to be at the outset. So if you want to talk about my nerdy niche, come up and talk to me later. So a fun fact about me is I consider myself to be one of the first digital natives. I'm a Gen X, but my father taught me basic programming when I was about 4.5. And he said, here's your BBC computer, and you have to write your own games because no games have really been invented at that stage. So my brother and I used to write if-then statements and create adventure storybooks for ourselves. So I'd write one for him, and he'd go to, get to page 13, and if you open the door, then this will happen. So that was my first step into tech. I've worked in, sorry, a bit dry throat there, high growth startups. What's more fun than working in a high growth startup is not working in a high growth startup. Helping other people work in high growth startups is an amazingly fun thing to do, and that's what I've moved into later. You have to have an all-consuming passion to deliver that stuff, so I have utmost respect for people that are on that journey, and love the drive that you have to succeed in that. So what are we going to do first? Well, I'm going to be helping make our Tech Summit a huge success and continuing our amazing monthly and lunchtime sessions. And I really want to understand what are the types of topics and things that you guys want to hear about. So give me all your suggestions. And then I'm going to be getting out and chatting to all of our members and finding out how we can make you guys super successful and bring our community together to talk about some of the tricky things like pathways into tech, attracting new staff and attracting people to Canterbury, to our lifestyle here as well. That's what I put off stage now. Not long. And the last thing is, you guys probably have seen in some of our newsletters around the new ecosystem map. So we're going to do a real push on that at the beginning, which is if you're a bubble on there and you haven't filled out your data yet, please get on and tell us about you. And I'll be coming around to find out more about you based on that. But what is important for is that if we can describe how many of us there are and the impact that we're having on the economy and on society, we have a lot more bargaining power when we're trying to talk about getting things done for our community. So the more we can count ourselves and the more data that we have, the more easily we can tell our stories to the people that need to provide funding or pathways or opportunities for our very special Canterbury tech community. And the fun thing about the ecosystem map is that it's powered by FIS, which is they're sponsoring that. Sorry, we're recovering from COVID 3 weeks ago. This has still got the residual bit there. But FIS is actually a product that I worked on back in the day. I think it was 2017 to 19. So I helped with the founding of that. So it's been a pleasure to see that taking root and being used in such an innovative way. And it will help potential talent and other connections happen if you can start to investigate all the different people that make up our ecosystem. So let's connect, inspire and grow, and I look forward to getting to know all of you over the next few months. So come say hi.
Thank you, Louisa. We are very excited. Okay, a warm welcome to our new members. Arts Centre of Christchurch, Verizon Connect, Edge Communications. Is anyone in the room? And our new individual and student members, welcome, welcome, welcome. As mentioned, get on the ecosystem map, get your friends on the ecosystem map. If anyone works in tech, get on the ecosystem map, fill in the form. Go to ecosystem.canterburytech.nz and there'll be links all over the place to get to a Google form to fill that in. Another event that's coming up, our diversity and inclusion workshop. So with Christchurch NZ, we're running a workshop or a series of workshops around helping tech leaders and managers to expand and explore a more diverse and inclusive workforce. So it's quite a practical session. Session 1, 23rd of August, September, October. Look it up and register if you want to email info@canterburytech.nz if you're keen to get on the list.
Is it 3 sessions that are identical or 3 sessions that follow on one from another?
Who would ask someone that had no idea? I'm going to say there's 3 sessions that follow on from each other. So all sign up for session 1, and if I'm wrong, don't sign up for session 2. And the Tech Summit. So tickets are on sale. We're over halfway sold now. So literally every year, everyone leaves it way too late, and then they go last minute, oh, we really want to attend, and it's all sold out. So if you don't want to be missing out, get in, get there, and connect, grow, and inspire. We just ran through all the speakers tonight and had the committee meeting, and it's very exciting.
Where is it going to be held this summer?
So this year it's held at the University of Canterbury Students Association. Okay. So the Foundry, for anyone that knows that, it's a really cool venue now, and Alex, who's been working on the layout and how that all works. It's really going to be a cool event in a cool space. So for those that have attended at the Air Force Museum, guess what you found there. If you're trying to network in the back while people are speaking, it really doesn't work. So this year we've got a really dedicated space for being able to network and talk and chat while the events, the speeches and stuff are going on. So I think you'll really enjoy it. Here are some of your key speakers. So go again. And just in time, we have Menuate Elise.
Thank you. Awesome. So, kia ora everyone. My name is Elise and this is Toby, and we are the co-founders of Menuate. So what is Menuate? This might be the first time you've heard of us, but essentially we solve the what's for dinner dilemma with personalised recipes and a smart shopping list. And our aim is to take care of the whole weekly shop in just a few minutes. We're a startup, we're a high growth startup that's really fun to be a part of. So yeah, we just launched in September. We have been having really good growth and lots of interest. And so Toby's going to talk a little bit more about our role that we've got open.
Yeah, awesome. Kia ora everyone. So yeah, we're in a pretty fortunate position. Launched in September, quite quickly achieved a couple of thousand users, which kind of blew our initial expectations out of the water. Fast-tracked that to raising capital, so successfully raised a little over $1 million in April this year, which is great. So now we're going to kind of take our core little team of 3, I think Will's in the back there, now at 12, which is cool. Brand new office in Christchurch, just down on Duke Street. We are looking to fill one more role, just senior developer. Our tech stack's PHP, Laravel for you in the front end, if that means anything to anyone. Basically though, for this role, we're just looking to find someone who's got a great sense of smell, as we put it. Definitely culture is a massive thing for our team, looking to find someone who is great to work with, likes to get stuck in, and is kind of open for the opportunity of not necessarily just lateral career growth all over the show. So yeah, if that's of any interest, come grab Elise and I. Hopefully our contacts can be circulated or something, or just get in touch with Menuate, you'll find us. But yeah, really appreciate the opportunity to come and say hello and share a little bit about us and enjoy the rest of your evening.
And that then brings us to the main course. So I'd like to invite the team from FIS up to speak about their journey.
All right. Thank you. So look, how does this thing work? I work in tech, but I need to figure out how this thing works, right? So look, my name's Akshay. We're going to talk a bit about FIS Asset Finance, and these slides haven't come out very well, have they? Conversion from PowerPoint to Google. So look, I'm the VP for product development at FIS Asset Finance. I've been there since day one. So we started as a startup. So it's exciting to see and hear about some startups. We started back in 2003 when we started this startup. And yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of fun as well. But we've grown past the fun bits. So we try and still make it fun. Look, I do want Jeremy to just introduce himself as well.
Before I sit down. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I've been at FIS for 6 months now, so I'm still in the fun phase. Daniel reached out to us and asked us if we'd be keen to present, and I think it's a really impelling story that Akshay is going to tell. I've seen some of the slides, and it's so I'm really looking forward to seeing it too.
Okay, so you've seen them. All right, so really I'm just going to talk a little bit about FIS because I think a lot of people haven't heard what we do, what we are about. It's a massive corporate, right? FIS is a US company. We employ over 70,000 people worldwide. We are big in the financial services space. We have more than 400 products, that kind of span all sorts of different areas in the financial services space. They started historically, I think where FIS started was in the banking space, but they've kind of grown into other areas as well around the financial services. We're in 50 plus countries, massive amount of revenue, and I think that share price or the market cap is down now based on the current share price. It's probably around 60 something, right? But it's still huge, right? 60 something is still a massive amount of money there. So, the focus for FIS is in the financial services, right? And what we are is we kind of split into 3 divisions. We have our, what they call merchant solutions, which is really about payments, cards. They do a lot of transactions around cards and payments across the world, right? Everywhere. There was a massive acquisition that they went through recently, well, not recently, a few years ago, which was WorldPay. So I can't even remember, but it was some silly number. You're talking several $billion. And then the traditional FIS is in banking. So FIS runs a lot of the banks, right? A lot of the banks still run the mainframe systems from FIS, right? So this is, and we have a lot of banking systems, and they still run COBOL. So what FIS has been doing has been investing very heavily into the modern stack in terms of the next gen, in terms of modern banking. So there is a lot of momentum there as well, and they're trying to move away or move all the customer base away from the mainframes. But FIS still makes a lot of money on mainframes. And then capital markets. So this is where we sit, right? So capital markets was the former SunGard. So SunGard was a company that got acquired by FIS back in around 2015. And so this is where the focus is around wealth management and insurance, and where we come in as well around the lending business. So there is a separation between commercial finance and lending and banking as well. So we kind of fit into this capital markets area, and just going to talk about, I guess, where asset finance itself fits in, right? So we have around 650 plus people around the world just focused on this product, right? That's originated here in Christchurch. We have 7 centers around the world that kind of were focused on asset finance. We have 20 plus installation or countries where asset finance is actually installed and running and growing, because I think that doesn't include, we've just gone into Latin America as well. So that's growing. And close to 50 countries that we can support on our platform. We are looking at some clients that we're working with where they're looking at a global rollout of our system, which is quite a big achievement and also quite a differentiator for us compared to our competitors. Where we as FIS can go and provide a solution that our clients can actually standardize on and deploy globally is unique to us, which a lot of our competitors cannot do. So we pretty much in the top two or three providers in terms of a solution in this space in the world. Different competitors in different markets that we find, but it's quite interesting because the competitors are quite different and quite niche in different markets as well. In terms of our development team, right? So it started here in Christchurch, right? We started back in 2003, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. But today our development org is about 400 plus and growing up to about 450, 500 in the next year. So we've got lots of jobs, not one. So this is the sell part, okay? So we've got 38 positions that we're looking to fill in New Zealand. Come on, anyone looking for a job, come see Jeremy. So Christchurch itself, right? We have actually 2 products. So maybe 3 actually. I don't know if Integrity's here still. So yeah, so 3. Guys from one of the other products, but now sort of works in a central architecture group. So, in Christchurch, we have about 200 plus people, about 210. Probably by the time we fill these positions, if we do, be about 240, 250 people. 2 main products that run in Christchurch. So I started back in 1996 in a treasury product called Quantum, right? So that started even before that. So that was owned by a New Zealand company, and then got acquired by SunGard around 98. And then that's been very successful. Quantum's in the top 500 treasuries in the world. Everyone runs Quantum, and then the lower end treasuries use Integrity. But even that is very successful. So when I started back in Quantum, I think it was about 20 people worldwide, and I don't know how many people Quantum employs now, but it's similar scale as well. Right. Yeah. And then, so then asset finance kind of started we had the idea around 2002. So some of us came out of Treasury and got together and started the asset finance product in 2003. We've got a massive footprint. We've got also 3 development centers currently. So obviously Christchurch is our main development center. We have a big development center in India as well. So we employ, what's our numbers in India now? 250, 270, going close to 300. And we've got 50 people in Serbia as well. We're also looking at setting up a development center in the US now, in probably Atlanta or Jacksonville. It'll be a smaller team, but probably start with 2 scrum teams there as well. So look, I was told that I've got 30 minutes. So I'm trying to stretch out the story a bit. Sorry, so put up with me, okay? And then so the story was, we started. I've had to blur the screens because it's IP apparently. So in 2003 we started. We kind of got annoyed with what we were doing and decided let's do something. So that's how we kind of started this product. We were having a chat and decided that actually asset finance leasing must be easy, so let's start there. Well, that was the biggest mistake of my life, I think, but I'm still here, right? So so that was 3 of us, 5 of us initially. We had a couple of guys that had come from Quantum that were the main investors. We managed to actually secure some funding from NZTE at that time, or whatever it used to be called at that time. So that was really useful. And we started, so we, got an office on Beeley Ave in the Amiri Park. We had the whole floor, 3 of us on the floor, no furniture. So, first thing we did was actually buy a table tennis table. And the best ideas actually came around the table tennis table in those days, which was really fun. And then, we grew very fast. We partnered with one of our first clients in Australia, which was a French bank. And from there, it's just, grown. So we've kind of gone into Australia first, UK, we got into UK after that, got into one of the major banks in the UK, and slowly then expanded into Asia. We had a go at Japan, which was a failure at that time. We got out of Japan. We even had a go at America, which was a failure, got out, but now, those are our 2 main markets, that we're focusing on. And the huge opportunity. So the story was, we kind of started 2011, SunGard, bought us out. We ended up partnering with SunGard well before that, around the GFC when things were tough. And we had some, one of the major banks in Australia was looking to contract and looking to buy the software, but didn't want to contract with what the hell is this Northern Arch outfit in Christchurch. So it was really tough at that point. So we ended up partnering with SunGard, and that actually opened the doors for us, right? So actually having the international partner like SunGard made it so much easier to get into these big banks. And then, SunGard got acquired by FIS around 2015. and here we are, right? So like FIS in the last, within FIS, so last 2 to 3 years, we've been one of the fastest growing products in FIS, right? We've been growing at 30%, 40% a year in terms of our footprint and revenue. So it's been phenomenal growth in terms of, where we've been going. It's been challenging, growing from 5 people to 400 plus. You try, trial and error, a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, we kind of follow the scaled agile model now, or at least trying to follow that. But then, there's challenges with India, there's challenges with, different countries as well, and time zones. But it's all fun. I'm still there. I still love my job and enjoy it. So that's the key thing. But I get Jeremy to do all the shit work for me. So a bit more about, what do we do? So about what is asset finance, right? So asset finance is, again, so it's everything around, financing of an asset and managing it, right? So from, and it's for the lender that's managing it. So, within the banks, we don't do mortgages, so it's nothing to do with mortgages, but everything else, right? So commercial finance, where they might be doing finance of medical equipment or servers, farms of servers, thousands of them, equipment around mining, medical, whatever, right? And then also, outside of the banks, we have our captive market, so it's all the auto finance companies, right? So currently our focus is, there's massive growth. You think, how the hell are those auto finance companies making money? But that's where the growth is, right? And we've had a lot of success in that space recently. So our solution is basically, providing the solution for them to run their business, right? I.e. end-to-end, they can do from originations to credit to collections to, end of term, manage all the assets, manage the transfer of the assets as well from, different, and even within the auto finance space, there's different types of financing arrangements that they have with the dealers and with the end customer as well. So we deal with all of that, right? Including, the accounting of it and payments of it. Some of our logos, right? So we've got some very big names on here, right, that we work with, right? So ANZ was our the client in Australia. HSBC was the main client that we started off with in UK. But more recently, it's all been the auto finance space that we work with, and these are not single country rollouts. We're working with them in multiple countries at a time. Which is quite interesting because they have no standards as well. They want to standardize, so we try and go in there and help them standardize. A bit more about what do we do? We do the end-to-end in terms of the financing of the solution. It's almost like an ERP system, right? We manage the customer, we manage the transaction, we manage any interactions, we manage the accounting, we manage the payments, right? And then there's of course the asset that has to be managed as well. So depending on the kind of asset that's under management, if it's an operating lease type arrangement, so the financier actually owns it, then we manage that as well, i.e. the depreciation and the accounting and the servicing of it. So a lot of it is, when we started, it was all based around make it configurable, make it configurable, make it configurable, right? So our first rule of thumb was make it so that it's super configurable, and then everyone can come in and configure it. Now nobody knows how to configure the system. It's so bloody complicated. But that's the key thing. So we have armies of consultants that are actually experts at configuring the system. And even, guys that have been working with me, probably don't know how it's configured right today. So guys that have been working with us for years. But it's all part of the fun, right? Because it's all quite unique in terms of different customers and what they do, you think, it's the same sort of business, but everyone is different, is what we find. So the configuration stuff is actually helping. A lot of it is driven through business rules, it's extensibility. So we've got some cool technology in place around making it, configurable, workflows that can be defined, extendable model around the UI, the APIs, and the data that can be captured. It's all driven through configuration at that point. We've also got extensibility through, we started off with a plugin architecture so that we can actually have customization for each client and not basically have a core and then have customizations for each client. Now we've actually put a no-code layer using Google Blockly that generates that plugin code as well, which is really cool. Apart from that, technology-wise, it's all web-based HTML5 today. We play in the cloud space. We have customers that we provision and run systems on Azure, so completely dedicated environments and completely secure. And FIS is massive about security, very bank driven. Huge amount of capability around integration and APIs. We continue to invest in that space. What do we do? So we've got 10 million lines of code. Can you believe that? And growing. But half of our code is actually test code. So when we started, we had this mentality of we must test everything. Automate everything. If you want to grow, and be agile and be fast, you've got to do that, right? You've got to test. And you've got to write your automation and you've got to do it fast. It's always been in our culture to have DevOps and CI/CD before it became popular. And I think that's helped us massively, right? We were able to do releases monthly. And without that, we would just struggle to do it. Our current stack, we're about to move to .NET 6, so we've had this project to convert everything to .NET 6. It's ASP.NET MVC, right? So primarily code C#, a whole bunch of obviously stuff that is required on the web stack that I'm sure most of you guys know about. We use TypeScript, we use Knockout, we use all that stuff. We are kind of database agnostic as well, so we do, have a persistence layer that we kind of built ourselves. I actually built it day one, it kind of works on Azure SQL, Oracle. Hopefully in future it'll work on another one, which is Postgres or Snowflake or something like that as well. Is kind of what we're looking at. I kind of talked about the cool Google Blockly stuff. The no-code stuff has been really cool that we've added in recently. So what that's enabled us to do is, instead of the customizations coming into our dev teams, we have consultants that are actually building these customizations, right? They are basically dragging and dropping stuff, making mistakes, screwing it up, but getting there. And they'll get better at it. And that's the whole thing is, it's all about enabling others to build the configuration and customization. We've got some really cool stuff coming up on our roadmap that we're already working on. And it's about, kind of moving cloud native is the roadmap and the goal, right? We're looking at deployment into containers. AKS is the model that we're following. We're looking at elastic scaling. The markets and the logos I've shown you there, the prospects that we're talking to are 20 times bigger than the ones that we're currently in. And we've got some growing up to do as well to support that. And part of it is then moving towards like an event-driven architecture, Kafka, microservices that kind of do different things in the background and just dealing with stuff rather than having these end-of-day type processes. We're also playing with some technology around AI and ML and OCR type stuff as well on our stack. Right. I've kind of talked about test already. Still trying to kill time. Nobody's bored, but feel free to ask questions. We invested in these the test infrastructure. We run 900 odd servers on our test farm that continuously are running tests. We have pretty much on commit builds that happen. Teams work in feature branches, hourly integration tests that run about 80-something thousand tests in an hour. And then, there's unit tests that run every sort of 5-10 minutes or whatever. And then daily end-to-end tests, right? Daily end-to-end tests, kind of UIs, APIs, performance tests, end-of-day tests. We run them for different client databases as well to make sure we don't miss something, right? So there is a lot of focus on testing. Creates a bit of overhead as well, but it still actually gives us a lot of confidence in terms of what we produce. Lots of commits. You can see, we're doing 3,500 commits a month, which is actually low for the number of people. We need to do something about that. But a lot of servers and a lot of tests that actually run continuously, and they're running 24/7. And I think we're looking to increase it even more so we can actually do more. And within FIS, I think we must be one of the only products that's kind of doing a monthly release cycles at this point. Most of our products be lucky to do a release in every 12 months, right? And they're trying to push into a quarterly cycle. So we've been quite lucky that we've been quite forward thinking on some of these things. So it's actually helping us. Right. And I'm going to leave it at that. So this is kind of our FIS values that we stand by. So I'm going to stop there, and yeah.